Welcome to video 6 in this series in managing stress in the weight room. In this specific video, I'm going to go over how to progress or regress plyometric exercises. When we think about plyometric exercises, we're going to think about three main variables. We're going to look at ground contact time, force absorption, and then landing points of contact. When we think about ground contact times, longer ground contact times are going to allow athletes to produce more force, which then will allow them to jump higher or being able to produce more power horizontally in a broad jump or a lateral jump. Now, short ground contact times are going to be very short, very minimal force production. This means when we look at ground contact time, short ground contact time is going to give the athlete less time to self-organize and being able to actually produce the force they need for that specific jump. So short ground contact times are going to be much harder than long ground contact times, where athletes can have more time on the ground to actually self-organize and be able to produce more force and jump higher. The second variable we're going to look at is force absorption. Let me give you an example of this. If there's a 24-inch box and an athlete jumps up onto that 24-inch box, how much force is he absorbing when he jumps on that box? It's not full 24 inches, because he may only jump an inch above that box. That means he's really only absorbing about 1 inch from gravity onto that box. Whereas an athlete is doing a vertical jump or a dumbbell squat jump, where there's nothing he's landing on except for the ground that he jumped off of, he has to absorb that full force or that full jump from the force absorption standpoint. This means a box jump is actually a regression from a force absorption, because they only have to absorb so much force compared to a normal vertical jump, where he's going to have to actually be able to absorb that full jump and being able to absorb it and then redirect it if need be. Last variable, we're going to look at landing points of contact. This is pretty self-explanatory. Are they landing on one hand, two hands, 1 foot, 2 feet? This just makes sense. If we're able to land on 2 feet, that's going to be a much easier exercise for the athlete to understand and being able to maintain positions. Whereas if they're landing on one, it's going to absorb more force on that single leg, which then allows them to have to force and understand how to manipulate their body to be able to absorb that specific amount of force on a singular leg, or less stability that we have talked about in the past. So when it comes to plyometrics, keep those three things in mind. Ground contact times, the shorter the ground contact time, the higher the stress the athletes are going to experience. Force absorption, the more force the athlete is absorbing, the more stressful that exercise is, and the fewer landing points of contact, the more stressful that athlete is going to experience from a plyometric standpoint. If you haven't watched the rest of the videos in this series, I would highly recommend it. And remember, systems drive success, so start building.